so what's happening now is with the Twitter files is I think you guys are scratching the surface. Yeah, a lot of the information is damning, but it's what we expect. What about searching for something that no one thought to search for? You know what I mean? I wouldn't know. That's the challenge. So like this is also the issue with the Hunter Biden laptop. People don't know what to look for. So it took them a year to find certain stories. We had stories from the Daily Mail coming out, exclusive. Hunter Biden laptop reveals, Joe Biden was involved in this deal. And like a year after the laptop came out, because you have to go through, 50,000 emails and then you have to find the context. So there might be an email being like, hey, I confirmed that meeting with the big guy you asked about. Then you can't search for Joe Biden doing deals. You can't search for corruption. You can search for the big guy. Then you can find an email being like, hey, we're on for tonight at 10 p.m. See you there. And then you're like, who's this guy? What is he doing? If you went to someone with a laptop and said, search for Joe Biden in the emails, you wouldn't find that one. But that one combined with another one proves he was involved in certain business dealings, which is, news that came out a year later.
Right.
So this is the challenge with the censorship stuff, because it's probably worse than we realize. How do we search through this stuff?
So you go to them with search criteria. How do you know that what you're getting back is the complete picture? How do you know it's all the information that's available when they hand you a little dossier of, let's say, 2,000 documents? How do you know it's not 3,000 or 4,000?
Well, so first of all, it's important to know that like Elon, when we came into the Twitter files, Elon Musk had just taken over the company. He didn't know what was in these emails. He hadn't been there. The people running the searches were people who were brought in from Tesla and SpaceX, because he'd fired half the staff of Twitter, and later on he fired some more, and he replaced them with people from his other companies. And so they had no idea. Like they were like trying to hold this company together with duct tape and bubble gum while running these very time-intensive searches for us. They didn't actually want to be helping us. They wanted to be doing their regular jobs, but this was kind of a task to them. So first of all, like nobody knew what was in there before we saw it. I mean, maybe some old guard Twitter people, but all these folks were new, were just as fresh to this as we were. And then it would be obvious if there was stuff missing, because we would see email threads that would just suddenly end.
But did you actually see that?
No, we saw no evidence of anything missing. Like you would expect to see email threads starting with nothing like out of the blue, and email none of that.
Is Elon still giving you access to all the files?
Not at the present moment, but we hope to be back in.
Why not?
I don't know. I mean, he's Elon, right?
But like, he was like, okay, guys, no more searching. Have a nice day.
No, it was more like we did our searches, we did our reporting. Where we hope to have an opportunity to go back in. That would obviously be at his invitation. We can't go in there without him. But that's not at this particular moment. Like we hope to be back in.
Did you ask to search for Alex Jones?
We did not do that search. That's an interesting one to do.
But that's also part of my point. Like without being able to just get free reign, so much is limited, and the Alex Jones thing could prove collusion between the networks at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, we did have free reign while we were in there, and we hope to be back in there. But to your point, yeah, we would need to be
like,
for months.
Here's a hard drive.
Yeah.
Start digging. You didn't have that.
Well, no, but I don't know.
I understand why.
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, because of the user data thing.
Right.
And I don't think they can just separate that. Also, this is a massive amount of data. It's like we were running searches on, it's all the emails, all the Slack messages at Twitter for years. This is like, it's not like you can just put it on an external hard drive.
So the Alex, so this is one of the issues I took with, I don't blame Elon Musk for his selection in journalists. I think he actually did a really good job of choosing some people to bring on to go through this. It's the best he could have done, but there's probably a lot of people who should have been given. Yeah, it was too. I feel like the people he chose to go through this are in a similar political space.
That's true. Also, it's important to point out that he did not choose everybody who went in there. He reached out to Barry and Matt Taibbi, and then Barry brought in Michael Schellenberger. Michael brought me in. I brought Li Fong in. Matt had a team that he brought in. So he basically invited two people, and then they picked the rest of the people. So this hand-picked journalist.
Man, and he's like mad at Matt and Barry now, isn't he?
He's not mad at Barry anymore.
Oh, okay, that's good.
He's cool with Barry. He's there was a little flap, but it was just over her like tweeting something critical about his like picking on that employee or something. It was just nothing. Matt, yeah, Matt's not Matt. And, well, this has all been reported out. I'm not
right.
But yeah,
I think probably one of the most important searches after federal government involvement is Alex Jones. because that looked like a cascade. It looked like a conspiracy to take one man off of all of these different platforms. I also wonder if Elon would be like, no, you can't search that one, because he's outright said he won't let Alex back on the platform.
Right. Well, if he did, then we would report that out that he refused to.
Is there anything that you haven't been allowed to?
No,
query?
nothing.
Except for now that access is basically shut off.
Yeah, but it's not shut off. It's not so much. It's not like he said you can't come back in. It's just like we had our time, we did our reporting, and then we have to be kind of like invited back in. It's not like we can't just walk in there. We don't have like passes that we can just use any time of the day. So I don't think we've been shut out. It's just I think we'll be back in there is what I'll say. But
cool.
Speaking of conspiracies, like this stuff, the Hunter Biden laptop stuff, it was just reported that the origin of the Russian disinfo meme came from the Biden campaign.
Yep.
And this has been reported by like 2 outlets. Like, it's like, this is a huge story that spells out a literal psyop. We put all these pieces together about how the Hunter Biden laptop story was, the FBI had the computer, they had subpoenaed it, there was a receipt, those were both published in the New York Post. We knew, so the FBI definitely had the computer, and yet they were running around to these platforms saying, we think that there's going to be a what appears to be a Russian hack and leak dump in a couple of days. This is just like within days of the New York Post story breaking, going to the platforms and warning them of a hack for information that they knew to be true, assuming that they were talking about the Hunter Biden laptop, which seems like it'd be a big coincidence if they didn't. Then in the meantime, the Atlantic Council had organized like a tabletop exercise a few weeks before the story dropped, where they invited like national security reporters from the New York Times, all these bigwigs to run a tabletop exercise. What would happen if there was a Russian hack and leak operation intended to affect the election involving Hunter Biden?